Hello everyone, welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, and of course a warm welcome to anyone who's new. So if you were here for yesterday's extended video, you'll have seen the part where I realized how much the lessons your person is going to be off learning and the lessons that you are going to be off learning seem like they are focused in different directions, but they are very much connected. You have some overlapping lessons that you're going to be learning. And so if you didn't catch that one, yesterday's extended was pretty interesting. So we went a little bit deeper into kind of what caused your person to do these things that created disappointment. At one point I said, ooh, I wish these cards had come out on YouTube. But that's when I realized we wouldn't have really known how to read them and interpret them and understand them without seeing everything that came before. So, but one of the other epiphanies was how connected your healing really is. So I decided at that point I wanted to do a soulmate snapshot today about the overlap, the lessons that you're going to be learning together. So it is going to be a general reading as always, but it's going to be general for this collective. So if it feels like it resonates with you, you may want to take a look at some of the other messages, and you may want to go ahead and subscribe. So let's take a look here. I think I'm going to use this as my main deck, and then I will clarify with the other one. We're going to start by taking a look at, of course, that energetic backdrop, because it helps us to think about how we're going to take the rest of what comes out in the reading. So what's in our energetic backdrop today? What's that energy that you're kind of flowing around in? And I think this one's the one on top. Yep, we've got the Star card. A lot of discourse about the Star card here recently. Star card and, ooh, hold on, Page of Pentacles, we need that. The Star card and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So the Star card is in the upright, Page of Pentacles is in the reverse. And this is a feeling of a delay toward a move. You're moving toward, there's a feeling that you're moving toward your goal, but there's a delay in getting there. It's a well-known delay, and this makes sense. We've seen this in a lot of readings. A well-known delay in getting there because both of you have lessons to learn. And with the Page of Pentacles, it says, you know, that these are very difficult lessons to learn. There's a lot of resistance to getting those learnings into you, not because you're unwilling to do it, but because it's legitimately very challenging. And that's in the energy for today. So it's about the energy of learning and bringing energy or bringing learning into yourself. So I feel like that's really promising, although not necessarily a quick path. We've got the Chariot. The Chariot is very much a you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here sort of vibe. And then we've got the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is truly speaking to the overlap of those lessons that the two of you are getting into, but it's the business end of them. So this is the part, not just the part that's overlapping, but the part that's particularly difficult for you to get at. And this is about the big three here. So you have to do something. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You have to do something about this. And you've got the big three lessons that are looming over you, which are about, these are fears of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of betrayal. That's where the overlap is. So you guys have both triggered one another, and it's been about this in some level. Now you could be have a greater fear of abandonment while your person has a greater fear of betrayal or rejection, but it's going to be in those realms, and that's where the overlap really is for this. With the Chariot here, I get the strong sense that you have to leave, but you're stumbling all over yourself to figure out what that first step is going to look like. This lesson really is a doozy, and it is what's in the way of the two of you being able to move forward. It is what is creating the imbalance between the two of you. It is the reason why, well, it's also the reason why you have such a strong bond, because you're here to teach each other those lessons. And those lessons would be tough to teach from somebody that you didn't have a strong bond with or didn't really care about. So there's some degree of needing to let go that happens here, or that is starting to kind of let go. But there's also just an outrageous amount of love that is starting to pour through. So you guys, if you've been on the channel for a little while, will remember that well, you'll have seen me pick up random cards and set them over there because we figure out they're not really associated with the reading. And I've mostly stopped explaining that, so that's what that is. But there's a lot of love that has been kind of beneath the surface, emotions that have been difficult to get to. This is what we've seen in some of the previous readings. Like there's a hard shell between them and their emotions, and really between everyone and their emotions. So their emotions are not accessible to you, to them, to anyone else. And there's a lot of fear there, but it's fear that they need to be able to let go of. And I get the sense that they are having moments of clarity around actually being able to let go of some of those fears. I get the sense that you kind of are too, but your moments of clarity might be a little bit more frequent. They are, however, definitely still... So we only want these top two. Sometimes you need the top one, sometimes you need the top five, you never know. With this though, the devil is just saying, even though we've definitely got some moments of clarity, there are also some places where learning definitely has to happen. Change definitely has to happen. This bond is also very much holding you together in something that feels difficult and like you should be able to get out of it. That's part of the frustration that your person has, and to some degree you may have it as well. This feeling of, why can't I get away from this? Why is it that I feel like I want to walk away from this person because this has been too painful, but I'm really unable to do so? And that happens when you're having your times where the fear is not greater than the strength for you. So the strength card coming in the upright is essentially a testament to your strength being greater than your fear at a given time, and that's today. And even when that's the case, you still can see, I'm having moments of clarity, but I have these experiences where things are just really, really difficult. And so, we talked a lot about disappointment in yesterday's reading and things that your person did that disappointed you. But what we've got here is, here's where they didn't. Here's where the two of you surprised one another and were far more excited or exciting to one another than you ever expected that you would be. Neither of you was expecting to run into what you ran into when the two of you had that soul recognition. It created a very significant change for both of you, and that's what we see here with the Wheel of Fortune card. Yeah, very significant change. So that's big picture. That's everything that's happened like to date. And that's in today's energy. So it's got that take a step back and look at the big picture sort of air to it. But what I have to wonder is, how much sense are you guys able to make of it when you step back and take a look at that big picture? So let's see here. We're going to look now into a little bit more about that that overlap and the lessons that you're going to be learning together, because we've discovered, and I'm just going to go ahead and set this one out here. This speaks so loudly about the lessons, the overlap, the location of the overlap, the types of lessons that you'll be learning together. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, we've got the Ace of Wands, yeah, just the Ace of Wands. And some of these cards can be tough to see when they flip over. We've got the Ace of Wands. This one is about, wow, it's about passion. It's about passion, and it's about working your passion. It's truly a manifestation card. So I don't usually think of the Ace of Wands as a manifestation card. It's something that inspires manifestation for me a lot of times. But in this case, it's both the inspiration and the manifestation. There's something special there. But there's a lack of confidence that's happening, that happens like pretty much immediately. It's where the two of you used to come together and recognize that you were stronger together than you'd ever been before. There's this feeling here that like there's an awkwardness that has grown there, a fear that has grown there, that now when you lock eyes, if you even had the opportunity to lock eyes, it would be a very different story. So there's a lot of fear that suddenly pops out here because you guys opened each other up so much. So you got so far out on this limb with the Five of Pentacles energy that I don't want to cover up this Ace of Cups because this is really significant. So I'm going to put this back down in here. But this Five of Pentacles energy is about, that is truly a place that your person feels vulnerable and does not feel like they are okay with being less vulnerable. or more vulnerable. They would like to be less vulnerable. So it really, and we saw this yesterday, this is what caused them to freak out, to flood, to close up shop. And here we see essentially that that's the response, but it's happening a little bit on both sides. Both of you have this, this sort of barbed wire area inside of you that is being, it's being like activated. You know, it's a very difficult place to go. So you've got the Knight of Cups where communication slows down, movement slows down, flirting slows down, energy of romance slows down, sometimes completely disappears. This is like the Fool card in the reverse and the Seven of Wands. It's very much tied to the lack of confidence and the unwillingness to go. So there's this clash. There's this, I have this desire and ability to manifest, and now it's being shut down because you got too close. You guys were too close to one another. There is a feeling like it's inevitable. We saw with the Star card over here, it is quite inevitable, but lessons have to be learned first. There's a strong feeling that it's just happening. It's going to move slowly but surely in this direction. It may not be comfortable for either one of you. But there is also this feeling of, it's just meant to be, like deservingness, not deservingness in the sense of entitlement, but it just feels like, it just follows. It almost can't be any other way. And both of you will feel it, but it will frustrate you because you will not always be aligned to take steps in the same direction at the same time. So I dropped a couple of cards. The Nine of Wands here came out in the reverse. So this is a bit of a challenge. This is the Nine of Wands in the upright refers to the resistance that you might have against a concept, the resistance that that you have because you've built it up based on the experiences maybe that you've experienced. This is a wounded warrior, but it's somebody who's been wounded in a psychic way, you know. The Nine of Wands, though, is in the reverse. It's, I figured out some things. I figured out I don't need to be guarding this wall. I figured out I can get over some things, but that is a huge responsibility. And it's not necessarily one that is easy to take on. It's part of what's created this air of discomfort. Oh, I dropped more cards. None of them came face up this time. But so we've got the Eight of Cups. Really, though, we've seen this. We've seen the Eight of Cups come out quite a bit. We've also seen the Nine of Pentacles come out and the Seven of Cups come out quite a bit. But what they're really getting at here, oh, and the Ten of Cups. Well, let's see. Are we taking them all? We are not. Okay. At least we're going to leave the Five of Cups there in the upright, which is good. We didn't need that on top of all of it. With the Eight of Cups, this is that recognition that there really is, it's overwhelm in needing to go out and address what I just did to this Ten of Cups. So the Ten of Cups is that thing that's too good to be true. It's you. It's your person has essentially rejected something that they now look back and say, this is a terrible mistake. I had these options. I treated this like it was an option. I acted like I wasn't clear on it, didn't treat this like it was as special as it was. It's been a mistake. They didn't feel like they ever had both feet on the ground. Everything was very confusing and kind of difficult to keep together. There's a definite feeling of lack of coordination, lack of flexibility even. It's like that there's a Three of Cups that came out in yesterday's reading that it's like they were looking for an excuse for things to be wrong, and they said, here's this third party energy. That's what it is. That's my excuse, you know. But really it's that need to go on this Eight of Cups quest because you realize that you've messed something up with this Ten of Cups. That thing that's too good to be true because you treated it like it was just one of many options that you were unclear on and quite frankly nonplussed about. So there's a lot that has kind of happened. It kind of explains the way that things went and why they have gone the way that they've gone. But we also see that energy of in today's energy, this recognition of, hey, here's everything that's happened. We do still have these lessons to learn, but there's such an awkwardness that is between the two of you. I hope this is done. There's such an awkwardness between the two of you as to how to go about fixing those energies, and this is part of why some of it kind of has to be done in emotional separation. So let's get the advice for you. Figure out where you ought to be focusing given what we've got on the table here. So the answer about what you guys were, what your overlapping lessons were, came out pretty quickly, and it's consistent with what we've seen in the past with the Five of Pentacles, being about really just those big three: the fear of betrayal, of abandonment, of rejection. We've got the Four of Cups here. This is kind of like, it's a little bit like the feeling of this Ten of Cups. What do you do when you run into something that you were not necessarily expecting? The Four of Cups in reverse is that I wasn't expecting it piece of it all. And we see that over here with this Four of Cups in the reverse too. It's, I didn't expect to be as blown away by this. But you've still got to catch it like you did. You did a good job of figuring out that you were blown away by this, and I'm going to stick around. Your person figured out they were blown away, and they bumbled it and kind of ran in a lot of cases, emotionally removed themselves. So for you, it is kind of what I feel in this card is a recognition of what's there and what's amazing, and some of the, just the feelings that might make you want to run a little bit. Now, you might not have that response, but it might also surprise you that you're capable of having that response. And I feel like you're going to have that a little bit when you have this other soulmate that we've seen come in. So you'll have an opportunity to exercise this a little bit. But when you get unexpectedly surprised, don't do like your person did and blow it. Allow yourself to revel in it and try and figure out what you want to do next. Very similar to the lesson of discernment for the Ten of Cups. We've got the Queen of Cups here in the reverse. This is about your own insecurities, I guess, coming out. So it's the things that feel like insecurities that show up when you are faced with a narcissist or faced with someone who has exactly whatever's opposite you, whatever it is that you can't handle. So a lot of you are dealing with a narcissist or someone who is who has got some narcissistic tendencies, and it wouldn't be diagnosed as one, but is treating you in much that way. But you've got some tendencies that dovetail in with it nicely. And so here, this is your automatic response to seeing something that blows your mind, particularly because your memory has just been refreshed by interactions with your person. But you're going to take a moment, because this is going to happen more slowly. You're going to take a moment and figure out, hold on, this isn't necessarily the reaction that I want to have. You're going to be able to have a more measured reaction because things are going to calm down for you, because you've got that ability to kind of slow things down a little bit for yourself. Then you've got this Seven of Pentacles that allows you to say, I do want to invest either in myself or in this relationship. Interesting. So this is turning out to be about energy that's coming your direction, which we've definitely seen some of that. But I also get like, there was one of these readings recently, it might have been yesterday, was like, go find your own third party, but it wasn't a romantic thing. I'm getting that again. Go invest in something that's different. And it might be something that becomes romantic but isn't currently. We've got that Ace of Wands again, and it's about that investment. So like with the Seven of Pentacles, it complements it really nicely. But with the Queen of Wands, this is it setting your soul on fire. So this is too. Ace of Wands is also, it's that card that we've had coming out over and over in so many readings, talking about setting your soul on fire. But as long as you allow yourself to do this, the problem is you're still going to be very much, even if you feel like you should be able to walk away from your person, there's a sense of imbalance and a feeling of not being able to quite walk away from them that hasn't ended yet. This Six of Wands really just kind of speaks to hasn't ended yet. You're still very much in the throes of working through things around them. That Two of Pentacles is the juggling that needs to happen to kind of keep things organized. But you are also going to, so I love this. I love this. The Three of Swords in reverse is talking about moving toward something that essentially unbreaks your heart. It could be a person, it can be a circumstance. It feels like this opportunity, but it's like you just have to let go and the current will draw you to that place. We saw that yesterday in, gosh, I can't remember if it was the YouTube reading or the extended reading, but it was not just that you are going to be able to manifest this, but like you don't even have to know what it is that you're taking the opportunity. You just have to say, I'm open to it. You have to tell that to God and the universe. And all of a sudden you just kind of get guided toward it, move toward it. It may not be super quick, but I feel like it's quicker than it usually is. It still has that feeling of this happens fast, and I'm kind of almost uncomfortably fast. It's almost got a sense of things happening uncomfortably fast. We didn't have the Eight of Wands come out there, but I felt it a little bit. So just heads up about that. So when we look at the overlap of the lessons that we're going to have, you guys are going to be learning together, we see that it is very much those lessons, around the big three, with the fear of abandonment, betrayal, rejection. We also see how much this whole relationship, when you look at it, it's a big thing that has become very awkward and has become very difficult. Learning of these lessons and working on this, which, as we saw in yesterday's reading, really does need to happen in separation to a certain degree, is going to reduce this awkwardness and allow the two of you to interact a little bit differently. So I'm going to wrap this up here. This has been a soulmate snapshot, so I'm not going to extend this one. We're going to jump in. I think tomorrow we might take another look at that third party. I'm going to look at the questions that are out there again and see what comes in from you guys tonight. And we'll go from there. But I think that might be where we go. So thank you for being here with me for this. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.